Delicious sort of £1 wonder, beautiful vanilla and cinnamon with coconut rice pudding.
Oh, yum.
Okay, so lots going on in there. Very simple dish. Very sort of humble ingredients, but all together, you know, little bits of cinnamon in there, which is delicious. Little few flecks of the lime zest in there, so a little bit of zing going on. Beautiful fresh vanilla, straight from the bean, and of course really good full fat coconut milk. Okay.
Lime and coconut, perfect.
Amazing. Yeah, and just sort of taking, you know, a very simple dish to hopefully a slightly different place, and lots and lots of flavour in there. So we're going to start off with the coconut milk and pour that in the pan. And then into this we can add the ingredients, and we'll gently bring that to a simmer to start infusing with the flavour. So nice low temperature just to start to get that to warm up. First thing we're going to look at, beautiful vanilla bean, absolutely packed full of those wonderful little seeds. Gently scrape that down. I'm going to go through the middle of the bean, and then just using the tip of the knife, go through the side, and you get all of these beautiful seeds that come up, and they're all going to impart loads of flavour into the milk. Do the same on the other side, and then because there's still lots of seeds in the pod, we're going to drop the pod in as well. Okay, so all those that we've scraped out will come off, and then more will carry on as that starts to warm up. We're adding a little bit of fresh milk as well. You could use nut-based milk if you wanted to, but a little bit of milk just to sort of reduce a bit of that richness of the coconut milk. Into here as well, beautiful cinnamon stick. You could use ground cinnamon if that's what you had. Beautiful cinnamon stick, again, just allows that flavour to come through. Just turn the heat up ever so slightly. Then we've got fresh lime, beautiful fresh lime. Fine grater. I'm just going to take the zest and allow that to go into the milks. A good amount, of course, that classic sort of coconut and lime, you know, great combination.
People worry about adding citrus to dairy products, but if you're just using the zest and it's going into a coconut milk, you're not going to have any issues, are you?
No, it won't split or anything. It won't have an issue. And that zest obviously is where all the flavour is. Absolutely wonderful. So it's just coming up to a simmer. And we want that flavour just to start to come together before we add in the rice. Now, we've got here some wonderful honey. So instead of using sugar, we're going to use honey to sweeten it. You could use any other sort of sweetening, like coconut sugar or agave or anything, but we're going to use this honey, and that will just melt in and bring that lovely little sweet element to the dish. And we'll just let all of this come together for a few minutes. And this is an exciting bit because you can start to see all those flecks of that wonderful vanilla coming apart, all those little lime zest floating around in the milk. Absolutely wonderful. And that honey's just melted down, infusing lovely into there. So scatter the rice in. And just let that start to cook as we're whisking up the mascarpone and egg. Got some mascarpone and 2 egg yolks. And what we'll do, we'll fold that into the mix before it goes into the oven. And
make it really rich.
Very, very rich. And those egg yolks just sort of will gently cook as it's in the oven. Yeah, really a lovely sort of decadent addition to a very humble dish. So, rice has been just ticking along there for a few minutes. And you can see it just starting to take on all that lovely, the vanilla, the coconut milk, the lime is in there, which is delicious. I'm going to let this down ever so slightly, turn the heat off now, and then just add a tiny little bit of the milk just to slow down the cooking process. Otherwise, when we add the egg and the mascarpone, it can be a little bit too warm. You can see already it's looking nice and really rich, really full of flavour.
So the egg and the mascarpone is like a very rich egg custard that you're
Indeed.
adding to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of the basis of almost like a creme patisserie, that sort of idea. So we put a good spoonful in.
No, it looks like an egg.
It does actually. So we'll mix that in. So make sure it's all clean down those edges, just to stop any of it catching. Get that custard mixed in, lovely. We've got the oven preheated at 180 and we're going to go in there for 10 to 12 minutes. Keep an eye on the top of the rice pudding. Want that lovely golden colour to come up.
This is quite a scalable recipe, isn't it? So you could be serving this for a couple of people, or you could scale it up to do
Absolutely.
8,
Yeah,
10, just as long as you've got a pan big enough.
that's right. That's absolutely right. Nice simple dish. And just before it goes in the oven, a little bit more of that lime zest. Just to get that lovely sort of roasted flavours going on. And there we go. So we're going straight across into the oven, 10 minutes. Those egg looks absolutely beautiful. Into the mascarpone.
What an amazing colour.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and that will just obviously, enrichen that the rice pudding, both in colour and texture and flavour. Whisk that until it's nice and smooth. And with the rice pudding, we don't want to cook it too quick. If you sort of boil it, the outside of the rice cooks before the middle bit, and it will sort of get mushy. So a nice, just ticking along, nice gentle cooking, just simmering, so the rice starts to soak up all that flavour. And you can see it gently starts to thicken, and a beautiful vanilla and the cinnamon just on top. Give that a couple more minutes before we add the mascarpone mix, and then we'll fold that through and place that into the oven. So what we need to do with this now is just leave it to simmer for a couple more minutes, and then we will fold in the mascarpone and the egg yolk, and we'll place that into the oven at 180 for 10 to 12 minutes, just until it's just cooked, nice and just soft, lovely and rich, and the rice should be lovely and tender. Soak up all that milk, lovely bit of lime, delicious. Rice has been just ticking along there for a few minutes, and you can see it just starting to take on all that lovely, the vanilla, the coconut milk, the lime is in there, which is delicious. We'll let this down ever so slightly, turn the heat off now, and then just add a tiny little bit of the milk just to slow down the cooking process. Otherwise, when we add the egg and the mascarpone, it can be a little bit too warm. You can see already it's looking nice and really rich, really full of flavour.
So the egg and the mascarpone is like a very rich egg custard that
Indeed.
you're adding to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of the basis of almost like a creme patisserie, that sort of idea. So we put a good spoonful in.
No, it looks like an egg.
It does actually. So we'll mix that in. So make sure it's all clean down those edges, just to stop any of it catching. Get that custard mixed in, lovely. We've got the oven preheated at 180, and we're going to go in there for 10 to 12 minutes. Keep an eye on the top of the rice pudding. Want that lovely golden colour to come up.
This is quite a scalable recipe, isn't it? So you could be serving this for a couple of people, or you could scale it up to do
Absolutely.
8,
Yeah,
10, just as long as you've got a pan big enough.
that's right. That's absolutely right. Nice simple dish. And just before it goes in the oven, a little bit more of that lime zest, just to get that lovely sort of roasted flavours going on. we go. So we're going to straight across into the oven, 10 minutes. There we have it, beautiful. Just set, just wobbling. Lovely crust on top. Not too golden. You can take a little bit more if that's your thing. Lime, wonderfully caramelised. Smells phenomenal.
Rice pudding skin is a great divider, but
Yes. Shall we?
the people who don't like it are just wrong.
And there we go with that. Beautiful, rich, all those wonderful little vanilla seeds in there. Lovely bit of fresh lime. Not too set, lovely and rich. Absolutely potent, perfect even cooking.